Hello, it's me again, Emily. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's reading we'll be looking into the Tower and the Queen of Swords combination. So this is my third combination reading. So my first video was the Hierophant and the Justice card, and then the second reading was the High Priestess and the Ace of Wands. I'll put the two tarot card combination readings down in the description box, and they'll also be in a playlist where you can access those readings. Alright, so if you like these kind of readings, or if you like these combination readings, then don't forget to like, comment, tell me what you thought of this reading, and subscribe to see more from me and to support my channel. Alright, so over here we have the Tower from Tarot in Space, Margaret Peterson Tarot, and Before Tarot, and then we have the Queen of Swords from Tarot of the New Vision, Vice Versa Tarot, and the Wildwood Tarot. So I'll be reading from the notes I've been writing down over the past couple of weeks. I've been meaning to record this for a long time, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So yeah, let's just get into it. Starting with the Queen of Swords. Alright, so let's see what we have with the Queen of Swords. I started recording this earlier and I got the whole format wrong, so I had to re-record. So let's hope it goes in the way it did before, because it went really well then. Okay, so the Queen of Swords. So we will start off with the quotes I wrote down. It's like some dialogue came to me directly from the Queen of Swords, and it's like she was saying these things because I feel like she can be a misunderstood character. And I say that's the Queen of Swords is a she, but of course the Queen of Swords can be a he as well. She just keeps rolling off my tongue. So we'll start off with the quotes, and then we'll go into the rest of what I wrote down. So with the quotes, the first quote: "You won't see it, but I am a light worker. I am not love and light. I am not flowers and roses. I am truth staring at you in the face, and I am the mirror." And then for the second quote we have: "If you are looking for what you want to hear, I can't be that person. If you don't want to hear what you need to hear, don't come to me." So it's like the Queen of Swords is black and white and no grey areas. It's all or nothing at all, because she can't give you falsity. She can't give you what you need to hear, because what you need to hear won't be good for you, or what you want to hear, sorry, won't be good for you. And she's all about goodness. She's all about up-leveling life, up-leveling her own life, everyone else's life, your life. And it would go against her principles and her morals to not say it like it is. By not saying it like it is, it's like she'll hold herself back, and it's like she will regret not saying what needs to be said and how it needs to be said. So it's like she may come across as cold and even bitter, because she doesn't have it in her to give you flowers and roses. So in that respect, she is an acquired taste. I wrote that down here. And only the people who appreciate honesty and appreciate their lives being put on the straight and narrow would be attracted to her energy. It's those who are liars, who are manipulators, won't get on well with the Queen of Swords, because it's like she'll see them from a mile off and she will tear them down instantly. But that goes in with the Tower as well. It ties in with the Tower. So she's all about the truth. She doesn't sugarcoat things. She's not a liar either. She won't lie for you, because it won't be for your best good, your highest good, or her own highest good to lie. She can't do it. She can't do it to herself, and she can't do it to you. She's not everyone's cup of tea. Yeah, she makes things better, not worse, as I wrote down here. If she's telling you a lie, she's telling you this, that, the other, when it's really the other way around, then it's like she can come up against bad karma. She could suffer the consequences of not telling the truth. It's either it will eat her up from the inside, because I feel like she's a really good person, like she wants the best, and not telling the truth will give out the worst kind of results, because then it's like you'll be living on a lie, and then your life wouldn't be sweet like you'd want it to be. You won't be living the life that you should be living. It's like you're living based on a lie. Like, say you want to go to, this is a random example, but say you want to go to uni, and then it's like you're having doubts, and then the Queen of Swords thinks you should go to uni, but then she sees that, oh, you're really struggling with this idea. Or let me just say, you don't have to go to uni if you don't want to. Don't go to uni. I can see it won't be for you. And then the person will be like, okay, I won't go to uni, I'll get a job instead. And then this job turns out to be the worst thing that could have happened to them. And the Queen of Swords is full of regrets, because she can see that this person, they're not working the job that's right for them, and it's kind of like carrying that weight on her shoulders, that, okay, I didn't tell them that they should go to uni, and then they could be getting into a higher paid job. Part of that is on me. So it's like she can be become very regretful easily, and wish things were different. And I feel like the Queen of Swords has learned from the past from lying and telling people what they felt like they wanted to hear. So it's kind of like she thought, okay, I don't want to lie again. I don't want to be that person where I lead people astray. So it's like this all truth or nothing. And if you can't take all the truth, then I won't speak at all. You won't hear anything from me. I'll give you nothing. It's kind of like I'll sit back and watch your life unfold, and I will hold back the truth, because if I don't say anything, then it won't be my fault. But then kind of is her fault again if she does hold back, because she can see that people are going downhill, or something's going downhill, and she could do something to stop it. And then it's kind of like she has this moral dilemma of, should I or shouldn't I? So this ties in with the High Priestess and the Justice card. It's like on the side of justice, where should I weigh in with my opinions? Would that be fair on the other person because they didn't ask for my opinion? Or should I just weigh in and give my opinion? Would that be okay? And on the side of the High Priestess, where she doesn't want to get involved and she wants to keep her energy to herself, because the Queen of Swords has been burnt before with the truth. And sometimes the truth can weigh heavy on her, even though she likes to tell the truth. It's like maybe she's had her fair share of arguments, her fair shares of fights, her fair share of this and that, and sometimes it's a big weight to carry with these opposing forces because they don't want the truth. Wow, that is very interesting. And then let's move over to, I wrote down here about respect and being feared. So I wrote down respected and feared, respected or feared, and then respect versus fear. So I wrote down respected and feared because with her position on the throne, it's like it will instill fear in people because she is the Queen of Swords. She can cut you with her words. She can cut you with her words and then create change. She can make you or break you, basically, and that will instill fear because they never know what's going to happen next. They don't want to put a foot wrong, and they know that the Queen of Swords will deliver the consequences. So does that breed respect as well? So respect and feared. They know that they will suffer the consequences of their actions, so they must respect the Queen of Swords and not go against the Queen of Swords. And then I wrote down respected or feared. So it's either or, respect or fear. It can't be both. They respect the Queen of Swords' authority. They respect the Queen of Swords' honesty, the Queen of Swords' boundaries. Or they fear that they will be on the side of the Queen of Swords' sharp tongue if they put a foot wrong, so they won't put a foot wrong out of fear. And then I have here respect versus feared. Just because someone is feared, does that mean they are respected? And I think I went into that with the first point of respected and feared. But can someone really be respected when they are feared? Let me know in the comment section what you think. And then moving on from that section, I wrote down here, the Queen of Swords has the elements of the Emperor. So I mentioned the Justice card and the High Priestess card, and now I'm mentioning the Emperor. So elements of the Emperor, which with her boss energy, she's on her throne, she's delivering direction, she's giving out her orders, and you can't cross her because she is the boss, and you can't go over the boss, really, can you? She's the boss. She can also be the CEO as well, so she's the top dog that you don't want to mess with. So how can you go against what the Queen of Swords says? Because what the Queen of Swords says is right. And I put that in quotes because maybe sometimes the Queen of Swords does get it wrong, but she does her research. She's been in her job for many years, but even with the research and being in the job for many years, your approach can be tweaked still. And maybe her approach can often be a bit too tough when she should be soft. Because it's like there's this sort of hardness with the Queen of Swords, and showing that soft side as a boss, as a CEO, can get you into trouble, or can show that you are one of the people under you, and you have to keep up that facade of being that boss and CEO because there's an element of wanting to be feared, going back to respect or feared. Maybe the Queen of Swords wants to be feared because she doesn't want to show her childlike side or her quiet side, her quiet nature, because that will remove the illusion of fear. So I also wrote down here, she thrives in a masculine working environment and can often battle sexism but wins the fight. It seems like she may thrive in a male driven working environment because she has that boss energy, and it's like maybe she grew up around masculine people or males all her life, and she's more comfortable being around the masculine type of people more than the feminine, because they know how to get things done. Maybe she struggles with leaning into the feminine side, like the Queen of Chalices and the Queen of Pentacles, because she doesn't like to relax. She doesn't like to let things come to her. It seems that she believes in getting things done straight away, and that comes with the air. So Queen of Swords, that's to do with the air signs, so Gemini, Aquarius and Libra, and the air signs are masculine. So it's like she embodies and she resonates more with the masculine side than the feminine, and that's why she works or thrives in masculine working environments. And through that, she's had to battle through sexism, because maybe she is the only feminine in the office, the only feminine in her school, whatever environment she is in, or wherever she has been. And she could come across people who belittle her, but she can handle herself with her words. It's like this person can come at her hard, but then she can go even harder with her words. And maybe all those times of sexism, of belittling her, of this, that, the other, she's built up this strong tongue, this sharp tongue, because maybe she wasn't always like this. Because I've kind of seen the Queen of Swords as the Queen of Chalices, having traces as the Queen of Chalices, but like as time has progressed, it seems like maybe the Queen of Swords has become more of the Queen of Swords and less of the Queen of Chalices, because maybe she's seen that being the Queen of Chalices wasn't working for her in the type of environment that she's in. So is the Queen of Swords the product of her environment, or is she naturally like this? A product of her environment are her experiences, the people that she's around, or is she naturally like this? So she naturally progressed into the Queen of Swords and moved away from the Queen of Chalices. Okay, and then continuing on from the theme of masculine, I feel like she wears masculine fragrances of real, such as cedarwood and lime, etc. All of those fragrances that will make you lift your head up and stare, because it's quite strong smells, and it's like when the Queen of Swords is in the building just by the smell alone. And I'm hearing like clicking of heels, so maybe she wears heels, not the highest of heels, but really short heels, so you can't miss her. And she has a distinct walk with her, so you instantly know it's her. And I feel like she may have a loud voice as well, and she has piercing eyes and looks very intimidating. But I feel like she has a heart of gold, going back to wanting to make things better and not worse. And she being a light worker, and going back to being a light worker and being a mirror and wanting you to know the truth. She has everyone's best interests at heart, but she is quite intimidating. And as I said before, the people who appreciate her will go the distance with her, will be her lifelong friends. But the people who don't understand her, who don't see that she's a light worker, won't see the benefits of the Queen of Swords. And I also wrote down here, able to think through complex mathematical problems and statistical data, and thinks critically and is critical. And that's probably part of the reasons why she's feared, because she's quite a critical person. People don't want to be criticized. People don't want their wounds to be opened, because it seems like every time somebody goes near a Queen of Swords type of person, she opens a wound, and it takes time for that wound to heal. because it's like she triggers something within people every time she's in their presence. And it's like, do you want to be triggered? Or do you want to go around living your life unaware of the things that need healing? You know, because she can hit like a nail on the head, and then this whole new world opens up to you that you wanted to keep behind closed doors. You can't keep your doors closed around the Queen of Swords, because like the High Priestess, she spots things, she feels things deeply, she knows you before you even know yourself. mm. And another thing I wanted to talk about with the Queen of Swords, I love the Queen of Swords. Every time the card comes out, I'm like, wow, I love the Queen of Swords energy. But then in real life, I'm around the Queen of Swords energy, and it's kind of like there's this clash. Like, I don't get on with the Queen of Swords type of person. So maybe theoretically the Queen of Swords is all good, but in a practical sense maybe not so good. But then again, looking at it, the managers at work, at some of the workplaces I've worked at, they have had a Queen of Swords energy, but with a harsher, bullying type of tone to them. So maybe I've had bosses and managers who are the Queen of Swords in reverse, where they don't have the best intentions, where they are flip-floppy with their energy. You never know what you're going to get with them. So maybe I have been around the Queen of Swords in reverse, and that's probably why it doesn't work in a practical sense and only in a theoretical sense. Now, with the Queen of Swords upright, I will get along with this energy because I like to be told the truth. I like to know what's going on. But then there's another side of the Queen of Swords where, I think I just mentioned this actually, where she picks up on your habits and then tells you about it, but then people can get really offended and like, why are you telling me this? I am not like this. And people can get defensive. And then it's kind of like the Queen of Swords is getting attacked because she's opened a wound, an older wound, or she's pinpointed or highlighted what this person needs to work on, but the person isn't accepting that they need to work on that. So the Queen of Swords is many things, but mostly good. She sees all with this mother of feathers. She sees all. Sometimes she doesn't speak on it, but a lot of the time she does. And then she doesn't regret speaking on them. Maybe she does have regrets, some regrets, but mostly not, because she didn't go against herself and not say anything. Wow. Alright, so that's something with the Queen of Swords. Let me know what you thought of this section in the comments, because I wasn't expecting to get all of that. I love this. So let's move on to the Tower card. So here we are at the Tower card now, and I wrote down a load of notes again for the Tower up here. So where do I start? I wrote down that it's a lot to do with psychology, because our psyche develops over time. So our psyche must be broken down at some point to develop new ways of thinking, to develop new habits, just to develop as people, to grow as people, to enhance as people. So I'll start off by reading from my notes. So I wrote down about the stages of psychological development and as a timeline. So it goes from stage 1 to stage 4 and above, but I didn't go beyond number 4. So the first stage of development is gestation, where the mother and the father has plans for the baby's life, ready to train them in their image, which will be the base of the Tower. below the tower. So when the baby is growing inside the mother, there are all these questions of, oh, what will the baby look like? What will the baby sound like? Where will they go in life? Who will they be in life? Oh, I want my baby to become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, a nurse, whatever they want their child to be like. I want them to go to uni, to go to this school, that school, for them to be around these types of people. So it's all about imagining what they want your life to look like, what they want their child's life to look like, to be like, and create their life in their own image. And then the second section is all about Piaget, who is a developmental psychologist. So from the age of 0 to 2, which could be like from this ground to this level of the tower, from age 0 to 2 years old, child learns through interacting with environment and develops attachments. So I mentioned Mary Ainsworth and attachments in my previous videos. So it's like from this age they can develop a secure attachment, insecure attachment, avoidant attachment. Oh yeah, that's all 4 of them. And that's from the interactions they have as a child, how their caregiver gives them care. Like, do they hug them all the time? And that's how a secure attachment is developed, where the mother is responsive and is always there for them. Or if they give them hugs every now and then when the child cries, or do they leave them alone, that will develop an insecure attachment. And all the other attachments will have varying different types of interactions with the caregiver, and learns through interacting with the environment. So at that stage in life, this is a full-on psychology lesson, I apologize, but this is what I'm getting from the tower here. So as a child, the child learns through their mouth. So they learn through feeding on their mother's breast and eating their hand and putting stuff in their mouth, and that's how they learn about the world around them. And it's like they pick up little bits here and there, and it kind of sinks in to their psyche. Oh yeah, and with those first 2 sections, it's all about getting their survival needs met. So are they being fed well? Are they being clothed? Are they warm? Are they safe? Things like that. That will form a solid base. And it's like the root chakra as well. Do they feel secure? Going from Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the base level is all about, security and feeling safe. And then the third section is conforming. So from the ages of 3 to 7 years old, it's all about feeling safe and protected by staying close to kin and family. So it's like they learn more about the world through the family, and when you learn through the family, that's how you can pick up on generational patterns. So it's like so I said from age 0 to 2 is from the ground to here, and then from the age of 3 to 7 it would be maybe from this section to here. So that's how they can pick up on generational patterns, learning from the patterns of the previous generation, and then the generation in the now passing it on to you, and you absorbing that information. And the child is looking at relationships around them and absorbing what they are seeing, which will model their future relationships. And then with the 4th stage is from age 8 to 24, which is feeling recognised and respected by establishing yourself in a community that values who you are. So from that age, it's kind of like you're splitting away from the family, and you're learning from peer groups, from school, college, uni, at work. And it's kind of like you are exposed to all these different people, their own experiences, and then they're passing their experiences on to you, and then picking up how they talk, how they move, their actions, their just everything from different types of people, different types of environments, that becomes this tower where everyone's expectations become your own, everyone's experience becomes your own, and it becomes like a safety net. And then it gets to the point of where it becomes a fully formed tower, and that becomes who you are. It becomes your identity. And this tower represents your identity, your experiences, your personality, your views, your values, who you are as a person. And then it's like the people that come into your life keeps adding to it, adding to those views, values, opinions, and then it's all to do with your environment as well, with school. Maybe you enter church, and like it all becomes this one thing, all entangled in one another. And then it's like, I wrote down here, is the tower the Hierophant, with the school teachings and the media, etc. And then when all of this is entangled into one, it's almost like a state of confusion may happen. And then that's when like the storm brews, with this lightning in the background and the clouds forming, because maybe your own ideals, your thoughts, your ideas, your values are being questioned. And it's like, is this me anymore? And it's kind of like becomes a turbulent ride, like you're on a boat and there's a storm and the waters are so rocky, and it's how long can you stay in these rocky waters before there's holes that form into the boat. I hope this is making much sense because I feel like these messages are going all over the place, but hopefully it's being articulated well. So I wrote down here, the tower comes as many holes have already formed to the point of realizations of a gaping hole. Okay, so that goes back to what I was saying. So with the boat can create holes from the rocky waters, and those holes can represent things that don't make sense in your body. So the tower represents your body, your experiences. And then you start questioning those holes. Okay, what's this hole about? So you start to dig a bit deeper into these holes, and then they become gaping holes because you may realize that everything doesn't make sense. What you were taught as a child from your family, does that make sense? Because maybe that's from a past generation that has been passed on to you, and it doesn't fit with you. So what does that mean for me now? What you were taught in school doesn't make sense because it doesn't fit what you want in life. It doesn't fit how you see yourself, your own ideals, your own opinions. And that gaping hole starts to turn into a storm with this lightning in the background, and it can be quite a traumatic experience because it kind of breeds a question of, who am I? You know, because you've been in this tower for so long, you've had these opinions, ideals, ways of being for so long. Like, who am I without all of that? And it starts to become, I don't need this clutch anymore. I need to find my own thing. So outside of your family, outside of your friends, outside of your workplace, outside of church, outside of school, who are you? And then it's kind of like these people want to find their own way jumping out of the tower because they've outgrown these experiences, they've outgrown the family, friends, opinions, ideals, because it doesn't make sense to them anymore. It doesn't They don't believe in it anymore. And it's like finding your own way, because it gets claustrophobic. It becomes something that's too ridiculous. Yeah, I'm getting the word ridiculous. It don't belong there anymore. And it's all a facade. There's a mask here. So it's like living a life of lies, because when you put on the mask, it's like, who is this person beneath the mask? I don't know, because I've never seen this person before. I've never seen this side of myself before. So let me just crack this layer. Yeah, it's like a layers of onions. Onions have layers, and it's trying to rip off each of those layers to get to the core of who they are, of who you are as a person. And all of these realizations could be triggered by internal realizations or external provocation. And the Tower is an inconvenience in the moment, unless you go out of your way to be like, okay, I need to get rid of this, I need to stop saying this, I need to stop doing that, you know. But when it's external provocation and it's unforeseen that these changes are happening, that all of these realizations are happening, it can be quite traumatizing. Like in this Tower card, it looks very confusing, conflicting, scary even. I'm trying to find a big word to say for this, but it's like there's just so much going on all at once that you feel like you're going to be ripped apart. Okay, that's the right way to say it. It feels like you're being ripped apart and you don't know where to turn to, because it's quite heavy and big things happening all at once. And that's how the Tower could feel, because it's harsh because of the lightning. It's hard because of the fire. It's hard because of the Fool. It's hard because it's dark around with the black skies behind them. You never know what you can get from these falling outs, from these, I don't want to be this anymore, I want to be something else. It's a scary process to go through. And I also wrote down a quote here: I will destabilize falsities from your reality and your mind. So it's removing the false and bringing the truth and bringing what's meant for you into your existence. Wow. But that's what I'm seeing for the Tower card. But let's move on to exploring the Queen of Swords and the Tower card together. So now we have the Tower and the Queen of Swords together. I hope this isn't too much to look at. And it isn't too confusing. It just helps me to see the different types of Queen of Swords and the Tower and get different messages from each card. But anyway, I wrote down here that, oh yeah, so with these notes I wrote down here, I wrote down the Tower and the Queen of Swords, and I decided to draw them as a mirror image, and then I noticed that maybe they mirror each other as energies, and because they are both quite shocking energies, because the Queen delivers the truth, and then the Tower is the truth that was unexpected, or just anything that was unexpected overall. They are both quite heavy energies. They don't hold back, and they both show you what needs to be seen. And they give you fresh perspectives. You know what, let me put these here. Okay, that's better. I can read that so much better now. So I wrote down here, the Queen of Swords takes what is intimidating and cuts it down to size, which is the Tower. The Queen of Swords brings someone who is taller and bigger and brings them down to earth. So this is the Queen of Swords, obviously, and this Tower is the someone who's bigger and taller and brings them down to earth. So the Queen of Swords does not mince her words with what I said before. And when she speaks, a chain reaction happens. Whether you expected it or not, whether she expected it or not. Because the Queen of Swords often doesn't see the changes that occur. Yeah, there's physical change where she's at work and she gives her orders, and then the orders are listened to and they take action. But then with the psychological change, maybe she doesn't see it until she sees a change of action, a change of behavior. And that's all because she said the truth, which has the person looking at their whole life, looking at their family and what their family has passed down to them from previous generations, and then works through that, begins to work through that. And then the Queen of Swords may see changes in your behaviour because you've done the work. But the Queen of Swords does not like falsities. She doesn't like false people. She doesn't like false environment. She doesn't like... It's like she sees that someone is wearing a mask with this mask on the tower. And then it's like she questions herself, okay, what does this mean? What does this mask mean? And maybe she'll ask questions to dig a little deeper, because questions are powerful. And she observes the person's answers or the person's behaviours, or it's like she watches the person over time, and it's like she answers unanswered it's like that their actions answer the questions that were never spoken. And in that way she's like the High Priestess, because she observes people and answers her own questions that she didn't need to ask, because she believes that observing is powerful. And the Queen of Swords' power of observation is often more powerful than her saying anything at all. You know, so this could also be her not being naive with herself, not pulling the wool over her own eyes. It's like she gives herself a reality check every time she feels like, oh, this could go this way or this could go that way. And it's almost like she's lying to herself, and almost like she is fantasizing about how a situation could go. It's like she brings herself back down to earth. She doesn't mess around with herself as she doesn't mess around with other people, because she doesn't want to fall for illusions that the mind can create for the self. So she always needs to be clear-headed. And how does she clear her mind? Maybe she journals. Maybe she clears her mind through exercise. Maybe she clears her mind through working. Because oftentimes when you have things on your mind, you need distractions like work to get you out of the situation. And through getting out of the situation, she comes to a conclusion that maybe she needs to do something about it. So she's very proactive at cutting things down to size through distractions, or she will face it head on straight away. She doesn't let things linger. She doesn't like lingered energy. So it's either I sort it now, or I'm going to drive myself insane by thinking about it, and it'll put me in a bad headspace. So she needs to be in a good headspace at all times so that she can see clearly. Because if not, it can build up into a tower. Because maybe she'll forget to work on that thing that she's been meaning to work on. She doesn't procrastinate. She doesn't waste time lingering. She does not like to linger. Wow. It's like I'm getting this thing with housework. You can let it pile up. It can create a cluttered house, a cluttered environment. And then that represents the state of your mind, because when a room is cluttered, your mind is cluttered because there's so many things out there to look at, to sit around. And the Queen of Swords doesn't let her home life become too cluttered. She doesn't like random things in her environment. So she'll clean up straight away, and then that clears her mind. So a tidy home represents a tidy mind. Wow. But like these two, Tower and the Mother of Feathers, in this card deck, it just looks like it's a very intimidated, straight up kind of energy. I'm getting like the eye on the tower in the Lord of the Rings, and it's just looking at you, looking at everything, searching for someone, seeing things at a distance, seeing things from miles and miles and miles away. And the Mother of Feathers can see things from a mile off before it even happens, because she's always looking. When you think she's not looking, she's looking. When you think she's not observing, she's observing. You won't even notice that she's looking at you, that she's watching you, because she's gotten quite skilled at watching those from a distance. And she never misses anything. She doesn't miss a trick. And when she needs to speak on something, she will. And it may feel like the worst day of your life because she caught you doing something that you shouldn't be doing. And then she'll put you on the straight and narrow. It may hurt, yes, for then, but when it comes to the long run, you'll be thanking her. But I feel like the Queen of Swords doesn't get much thanks. Maybe sometimes she does, but other times there is no thanks. But I'm kind of getting the message of it's all in a day's work. It's like she has an obligation to say things as it is and to tear down your barriers, because they're not helping you. It's not serving you. So it's all in a day's work that she's making things better for you and herself. Who would she be if she's not making things better? Who would she be if she's constantly remaining silent? It's like she'll be a wallflower. She'll see herself as a wallflower. She's no wallflower. She's a force to be reckoned with. Oh. And it's almost like she's guided by intuition as well, yeah, with the third eye. The eye in the middle of the tower. It's like the two energies are one. They are both connected, but in different kind of ways. Well, I wouldn't say in different kind of ways. They are both just connected. The energies are connected. They are one in the same. And being around these two types of energies can be quite jarring, but being around them is necessary. Oh, and I forgot to say about the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Arrows from the Wildwood Tarot deck. It's like you'll never see the Queen of Swords struggling. Yes, she'll be graceful and beautiful on top of the water. This one is on top of the water, but below she's paddling ferociously, trying to get across the stream. So it's like you'll never see her struggling, panicking, scared. She'll keep it to herself because she doesn't need to express those kind of emotions, because she can deal with it herself. It's like she can compartmentalize when she needs to, and she'll deal with it later before it builds into a tower and becomes more of a problem than it needs to be. because if you put the Tower here, it's like she's distracted by other things and ignoring the Tower behind her, which can be to do with her psyche, where everything's going wrong and she's ignoring it. It's like, I'll deal with that later. I'm gonna compartmentalize this catastrophe, focus on this for now, and then I'll come back to you, the Tower behind me, when I have the time to deal with it. But I will deal with it quickly before it gets out of hand. So she can deal with things quickly and efficiently. She can put things to the side and always remember that it's there and go back to it, sort that out, and then come back to what she needs to do. So she doesn't linger. She does it even though it may seem scary, it may seem too big for her. But nothing is ever too big for her, because it's like she breaks them all down into bite-sized chunks and works her way up again. Oh, very interesting. I didn't mention the boundaries because I feel like boundaries is a given, because you can't come across the Queen of Swords and expect not to have boundaries. Because when you are respected and feared, or feared, it's like you have to have those boundaries. When you're feared, you don't want to show your emotions, because then the illusion of fear would have dissipated. And you can't be respected if you don't respect yourself. And to have self-respect is to have boundaries and who you let into your space. But the people around you don't see that you have your boundaries up. But the Queen of Swords knows that she has boundaries up. She doesn't need to vocalize, oh, I have boundaries up, you can't enter my space. It's done subtly or harshly, but they'll never know that that's a boundary, because she doesn't say outwardly that that's a boundary. Oh. Alright, yes, that's what I'm seeing for the Queen of Swords and the Tower. So let's go over to the section of what else do we need to know about the Queen of Swords and the Tower card. So what more do we need to know about the Queen of Swords and the Tower? What did the Queen of Swords and the Tower want us to know about their energy, about their combination? Whoops. Okay, so the Fool. There's an element of release with the Queen of Swords and the Tower card combination. It's like they remove your inhibitions, they remove all the impurities in your life. Like, you're not meant to feel this, you're not meant to go through this, or I will help you remove, I will intentionally remove all the impurities from your life. I will help you feel much lighter on your feet, and help you start out on a new chapter in your life without these boundaries holding you back, without these thoughts holding you back, without old behaviors holding you back. It's like starting from a fresh palette, from a fresh clean painting palette, so you can paint a new picture in your life. You know, the Tower represents freedom, because you aren't staying where you're comfortable. You aren't staying where you're being held back, where you have outgrown. And the Fool, it's like moving to a space where you will grow, where you will thrive. The Queen of Swords and the Tower wants you to thrive when they both come up in the reading. Wow. And then we have the Seven of Chalices. It's like the Tower and the Queen of Swords remove illusions. It's kind of like what I was saying with illusions and not knowing where you're going. It's like, okay, I need to put boundaries on myself and make things a bit bite-sized level. The Queen of Swords and the Tower is saying to take those risks. It's like picking something and just going with it. Even picking differently. Because maybe the Queen of Swords and the Tower are like, do something out of your comfort zone. Instead of choosing what you usually choose, there's so much more fun and excitement out there for you. All you have to do is focus your mind. What do you really want? And go for that. And then with the Six of Swords, they will both highlight the transitional periods of your life. Because you go, oh, okay, I get it now. You go from, there's this, that, the other that's happened in my life. There's this, that, the other that I want to do in my life. And it's like all scrambles in your mind because there's just so much going on. It's like going to bed at night and replaying everything that's ever happened in your life. Replaying every mistake that's ever happened in your life so you can't sleep. And with the Queen of Swords and the Tower, it's kind of like giving that focused energy that you can shift your mindset. You can shift from thinking of everything that's ever gone wrong in your life to the possibilities in your life. Because maybe you change directions, you change course in your life because you choose to be free. With discipline of the mind, with honesty, with truth, you can go further in life than you thought you could. Interesting. Let's get another. The Ten of Swords. Wow. It's like the Queen of Swords and the Tower card together can help you get out of a rut and gives you options, gives you new things to focus on. Because the Ten of Swords is all about being focused on what has passed, words that you have said, words that you haven't said, words that other people have said, and words that other people have said. And maybe the Queen of Swords has said something that has highlighted something for you, and it's like you may see it as a stab in the back, but really it's a gift for life with the Fool. You may see it as a curse, but really it's a gift. A curse, Ten of Swords, a gift, which is the Fool. You may feel like the Queen of Swords has hurt you intentionally, but in the end you'll see with a shift of mindset that, wow, maybe the Queen of Swords was right when she said this, that, the other. And maybe you will go and thank her in a year's time for saying what she said, or maybe you won't. It's all about being able to make a fresh start and not focus on all the things that have gone wrong in life. The Queen of Swords in the Tower comes to shake you up from the inside out. Yeah, from the inside out. Sometimes it's from the outside, which will create change on the inside. But I feel like this is pinpointing from the inside out, because when you make big changes with yourself, you can't help but to make changes outside of you. And it's like the Ten of Swords is all about staying in where you have always been, like the Tower. But where you have always been is hurting you more than it is helping you. So the Tower and the Queen of Swords aren't here to hurt you, they are here to liberate you. But you won't see it then, but you'll see it later on. When you are out of trauma, when you're out of, when you are out of this regret and sadness over what you have left behind, because you didn't see that what you were leaving behind was ruining you, ruining your life maybe. Wow. Let's get one more card. Oh, the King of Chalices. The King of Chalices comes as good intentions. The King of Chalices has good intentions. The Queen of Swords has good intentions, and so does the Tower. The Queen of Swords and the Tower doesn't set out to harm you in any way, shape or form. They want you to be your best. And it's like an upgrade from mentally distressed and down emotionally as well, to shifting to emotional maturity and freedom. And emotional intelligence as well. Because when you work on yourself, when you remove yourself from this and you learn about yourself on a deeper level, you will gain emotional maturity and emotional intelligence. We go from the Ten of Swords to the Ten of Pentacles beneath the deck, because I was seeing the King of Swords, the King of Pentacles, at the bottom of the deck just, but now we're at the Ten of Pentacles. So you go from a life of regret or a life of feeling mentally withdrawn, mentally burnt out, to I have it all together. Just because the Tower and the Queen of Swords uproots your life, it doesn't mean that the end goal or the end product won't be emotionally and physical healthy, but also enhancing relations with the family and your community around you. It'll have you feeling like you have it all because you have sorted your life out, basically. You go from, I'm getting the Five of Pentacles with this card, with the Ten of Swords, where you're feeling down and out, but then you can go to having it all. And the Queen of Swords could see that all along. You could live a better life. Like with the High Priestess, they can tell when people or situations aren't good enough. But the Queen of Swords may speak on it in a direct way or in a way that may be soft. But then at the same time, she can't do soft because she wants to be heard. Does she have a need to be heard? Or even a want to be heard? Or it's just out of obligation that she will tell you the truth. She'll tell you what you need to hear. Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing for the Queen of Swords and the Tower. I hope this reading made sense. I felt like the messages were going all over the place, but we got there in the end anyway. If you have any insights into this reading that I just gave, let me know in the comments section. The next reading will be the Devil and the Five of Pentacles, so if you have anything to say about that as well, let me know. So maybe I could incorporate that into the reading, or it will just be nice to hear what you have to say. Anyway, so thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next reading. Bye!